Before I came to Thailand, my friends who'd been here before kept telling me, don't skip Chiang Mai. It wasn't at the top of my list, mostly because I didn't know much about it. But I'm really glad that I listened. Hi, I'm John. I'm a Canadian senior solo traveler who's just spent 3 days in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And I want to tell you all about it. Where Bangkok races along, Chiang Mai feels settled and unhurried. The old town is compact, calm, and wonderfully walkable. As a senior solo traveler, I found it easy, safe, and surprisingly quiet for a city of this size. I arrived on a Sunday, just in time for the Sunday night market. That's a lively maze of kiosks, crafts, souvenirs, and food. I sampled several traditional Thai foods for my supper, but I passed firmly on the grilled caterpillars. For the next 3 days, I explored at a relaxed pace, mostly on foot and with one half-day activity each day. I visited in early December and the weather was perfect. Warm sunny days and cooler fresh evenings, making it very comfortable to wander around the city. The temples were a real highlight. I especially enjoyed Wat Phra Singh. ChatGPT helped me navigate the grounds and explain the history and architecture and even the stories in the murals.
Look up, the finials, the curling chofa at the peaks make lovely silhouettes against the sky. A great shot if the light is still soft. Number 2, the elephant statue. You passed it already, but from the side you'll see. Decorative blanket across its back, small offering bowls around its feet, the way it's positioned as a protector facing outward from the Vihar. Elephants often represent both royal strength and mental stability, a quiet reminder of steadiness for those entering the hall.
I went back one evening when everything was lit in gold and the monks were sweeping and lighting candles. It was ethereal, one of those magical moments that'll stick with me forever.
I was at this temple earlier today and it was quite nice, but I just came out for a walk and I could see it was all lit up. And I'm here all by myself. And it is absolutely awesome. I'm not by myself. There's a dog. And the moon. What an incredible experience.
On another day, I joined a Ko Van Kessel half-day bicycle tour. It ended up being just me and my guide, whose name appropriately is Peace. He was knowledgeable, friendly, and wonderfully flexible. We rode along the canals and laneways just outside the old city walls and stopped at Pratukam Market to pick up a few snacks for lunch. One treat stood out: Thai chai dumplings, kanam goi chai, small chewy dumplings crisped in the pan with fillings like garlic chives, minced pork, and bamboo shoot.
All right, so what do you call those balls? What's the name for those?
This is one in Thai or English?
Either one.
This one?
Yeah.
It's called Kui Chai.
Okay.
Kui Chai. This one, Nam Prik Num.
And that one is the one with the green chilies and garlic and couchette.
Yep.
And this one is
jackfruit.
Jackfruit, young jackfruit.
Young jackfruit, kaffir leaf, lemongrass. This one.
Lemongrass. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And then pound.
Yeah.
Yeah, all together.
And these ones, some have chives.
Some green one is chives.
Yeah.
Purple one is sweet potato.
Sweet potato.
And
that one's bamboo.
Bamboo.
Yeah. And sticky rice.
I'd actually been at that same market the day before when I was at a Thai cooking class. At that, we made 5 traditional dishes, and I left completely stuffed and newly appreciative of how Thai cuisine balances sweet, sour, spicy, and salty so beautifully. Another memorable stop on my bicycle tour was the Wau Lai community, a neighborhood of silversmiths who still work with what's called repousser and chasing. At this community center is Wat Phra Singh, a small temple that's more than 500 years old, but recently covered panel by panel with handcrafted repousser aluminum. Every surface, walls, doors, and roof lines was hammered out by hand. Inside, wax figures of revered monks sit in front of panels engraved with their biographies and horoscope charts. The whole place gleams silver, quite different from the gold tones that you see everywhere else in Chiang Mai. It was a remarkable community project. There are lots of restaurants and a huge cafe culture. After 2.5 weeks of eating noodles and rice, I was craving pizza, and I found myself in a little Italian restaurant with Italian music playing in the background. I enjoyed a pizza and a glass of Italian Cabernet Sauvignon. As a bonus, there was a fellow from Abu Dhabi sitting at the table next to me, and we ended up sharing travel stories over dinner. Another morning, I joined a coffee tour. We visited a roaster and 4 very different cafes. I tasted coffees I'd never tried before and learned a lot about Thailand's growing specialty coffee scene. By the end of my stay, I understood why so many travelers fall in love with this city. It's busy enough to stay interesting, but calm enough to unwind. If you come to Chiang Mai, I advise staying at one of the many accommodations available within the old city walls. At night, the streets around my hotel were quiet and peaceful. Quite a change from Bangkok, and I could easily imagine spending a week here just soaking it all in. If you've got more time here, there are also lots of other excursions out to see elephant sanctuaries or hike in the foothills around the city, or even longer excursions off to surrounding cities. There'd never be a lack of things to do. I hope you enjoyed this little trip through Chiang Mai. Please like and subscribe and let me know if you like this kind of content for my channel. Safe travels. See you next time.